everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Zee Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
And today we're taking a look at a game called Inori, or
Inori, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a made-up word?
It is.
Okay,
You're like
make
these
sure.
little people making offerings to these different fairies and gods, and it's an abstract game.
Yep. That's as far as it goes.
You're getting different colors, but it's the designers of this game, Mateo Albert and Theo Rivera. I don't know Mateo as much, but Theo, I like a lot of his games.
Yes.
This actually, when I first saw it, I thought it was a reprint of a different game. Not for any other reason. It just sounded like one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But it actually feels like a classic 90s Euro? I don't know. Let me show you how to play it. We'll come back. In this game, each player is going to get a certain number of offering markers, some of which will be placed in future rounds. And based on the number of players, how many offering markers you will get. The game's going to take place over 4 rounds. And in each round, players are going to take turns placing out their offering markers. Now, you can place your offering markers on one of the cards. There's 3 cards in round 1. There will be 4, 5, and 6 in rounds 2, 3, and 4. When you place it there, you're often going to get these resources here, and these are called favor tokens. You're trying to get favor tokens in various colors. So sometimes when you go to one of these cards, you will get those. Sometimes you'll get this thing here that basically looks like an egg, and this is going to be a rune tile, and it's basically a special tile that you can use later on in the game, or you can use it immediately. Some of these will just give you 2 favor tokens of a color. So players are going to be placing them on here. Sometimes you will score. This one, for example, says I get 1 green favor token, and then I score a point for every yellow favor token that I have. Well, that's pretty handy. That's one way to get points. So you can place on cards. You can also place down here at the bottom of the board and take these 2 favor tokens. That's once per game. Once they're gone, they're gone. And you can also go to these spots here. Now, each of these spots at the beginning of the game has no color attached. The first person who goes there will. So this one, for example, gives you 1 rune and 1 favor token of whatever color you put there. Once green's there, that locks green into that position. Maybe somebody else will go here, and this one, they have to pay a favor token. So let's say they pay a blue favor token to get 5 points. And so as the game goes by, these colors are all going to be locked into these spots. This matters for 2 things. On future turns, when people go to those spots, they have to use that color or they get that color, whatever. At the end of the game, whoever has the most favor tokens of each of these types is going to get points. So for example, in this situation, whoever has the most gray tokens at the end of the game gets 10 points. Second place gets 5. One of the spots also gives 2 neutral tokens, which you can place out just to block off these cards. Now, the reason that you are blocking off these cards is at the end of a round, after everyone has placed their offering tokens, each card that is completed is considered complete, and each card that has at least 1 missing space is incomplete. Either way, all the cards will be discarded. If a card is complete, each player who has at least 1 marker on that card will score a victory point for each favor token they have of the color in the top corner. You are then going to replace the cards. If the card is complete, so this is a complete card, for example, this is a red card. You'll then replace it with the top card from the red deck. Let's say this card is incomplete here. It's a gray card, so we're going to replace it with the top card of the green deck for next round. So that's going to happen. And also the person who's in last place will draw 2 cards from this wild card deck, and they're going to pick one of these and place it in the open spot. If they place one in an open spot where there's more offering markers, everybody will get one of those offering markers, so you have more to place on the board. That's it. Like I said, these rune tokens let you kind of move people on and off tokens. They sometimes let you put a person where someone else already is. After the last round, you will score who has the most favor tokens. Some things over the course of the game make you spend favor tokens. There's different things that you need to do when you go to various spots on the board. And whoever has the most points is the winner. The game is beautiful. The art is gorgeous.
Yes.
The cover is striking. I love how there's not a lot to it, but a lot to look at the same time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It seems very minimalistic, but the more you look, the more it just captivates you. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I think minimalistic is a good word for this game. The look and the feel of this game. It is very ethereal and minimalistic at the same time.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that feeling. I think what you're referring to, that the fact that it feels old school, is because it is minimalistic. The way they
Yeah,
used to
maybe.
make them. You know what I mean? Games of a worker placement game now has a bunch of stuff layered on top so that it's unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this one feels like an old school game in its sort of clean through line.
Now, I talked to several times with various people, and I found that some people had the hardest time understanding the iconography. I don't know why. I thought it was pretty easy. Like, hey, if there's a crown around a color, that means you score a point for that color.
Yep.
But I had more than one person get thrown off by that. And the icons on the, I keep wanting to keep calling them
runes.
eggs. The runes.
Yeah.
They're like, what does this do exactly? It lets you be super mean, is what it
I
is.
say, yeah, I struggle with the iconography on the eggs. I struggle with that one to the point that
Yeah.
I was like, just not going to go for those. And I never
the-
got one on my other playthroughs. So I was like, I don't get it.
I agree. The runes are a little bit trickier than the rest of it. The rest of it I thought was clean. Yeah, having the little stack with the top one being the shaded in one, it's like, okay, the one you have the most of.
Right.
But see, what that I think is the whole game itself, I think it works well. I don't know that it's particularly intuitive. It's a tough
Okay.
game to teach in a sense. I'm teaching people that you go to the sideboard, and if you're the first person there, you pick the color. But sometimes you have to pay that color on the top two instead
Yes.
of getting the color.
Yes.
And then people get that if all four are filled, you get points for it. But if one of them's not, and then if it wins, it stays the same color. If it not, it switches to a different color. Except on the other three cards, if it wins, it will still switch, but it's going to score points for a different color. It just, again, I don't think it's a difficult game. I can teach it in less than 10 minutes, but I think that it's different than other games. It has a different cadence to it.
I think you hit the nail on the head there with it not being intuitive, and I know that on the little sideboard where you go and you choose the color, it's not intuitive the first time or a couple times you play to know what color to put there, because it's early game. So do I want to put a color there and then really push end game scoring early game? I think there's some strategy behind that is not immediately apparent your first time you're playing.
Interesting. No, I found it to be pretty easy to understand. Yeah, I don't know. I did not find it to be clunky or unintuitive.
Well, I actually think I picked it up pretty easily.
Yeah.
I found a lot of people, I had to explain things like the bottom. You go to one of those spots, you take those two things, they never refill. No game does that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's a
true.
weird thing.
Yeah.
Also, they might sit there till the end of the game.
Yes, right.
I mean, there's one play of it specifically where it wasn't until the second to the last turn. Someone's like, oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. And it's like, oh, we all forgot about that,
Right,
which
right.
in my mind means it's completely, you can just ignore it,
It's a neat, because it's better to go on a card and get two of resource.
Right.
And then also possibly score on
Push
that
that
card.
score.
Disagree
Yeah,
because
yeah.
but that's the trick. That's the neat part is it's just as important to not score some cards as it is to score them.
No, I agree on
At
that.
times.
You know what I mean?
right,
It's that
yeah,
idea. I
yeah.
love that concept of you are setting, and by you I mean the everybody at the table is deciding what scores together. If this card scoring gives you a bunch of points because you have a bunch of yellows, I refuse to go there.
Yeah.
I don't want it to score. I love that. I love that it's player driven. It's like this weird area control idea of like once you hit critical mass, this scores. And so everybody, if it would help you, goes, nope, we're not going to that one.
I think, and maybe that's where a lot of my issues ran with it, is it just seemed more like not helping other people more than do what's best for yourself. It seemed more like I have to make sure he doesn't score purple. Yeah, Matt, that's you. But I have to make sure that this doesn't happen. And so that becomes the focus and the shifting focus. Okay, nobody's in a good position. Okay, fine, then I'll go here. Or I want to push this scoring for myself. But that is always a secondary kind of game that you're playing, is what is best for you.
I never felt like I was taking a suboptimal turn for me. I was just making sure while taking my turn, I wasn't helping somebody else. Like I never felt like
Interesting.
this is such a bad move for me. I always felt like I was happy with what I did in the games.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I also wouldn't help somebody else inadvertently.
But I also didn't take my best move because somebody else would have an opportunity for a better move for themselves.
Sure.
So I did take a suboptimal move, like this is not my best move, this is my second or third choice, but it's going to block so-and-so.
I don't know. I think if you help someone else, it's not your best move.
Right, that's kind of what I think. But
here's the thing, though. I really think this underlines a point of this game. How much do you like interaction? Because this game is pretty mean in certain spots, especially those runes. The one that says take someone off of a spot, you're about to score that. I'm like, nah, you're not. Or you're off and I'm in. See, that lets you do some trickiness. I played one time where I went to a spot that the other person would score a lot for yellow, for example. So they went there also. And then right before, I took them off and stuck my own guy in there, and I got that optimal move, and they did not score yellow. That's super mean. And I can see people not loving this game because of that. And you also have to do that whole measuring of, I like red to do well. You have red, I have red. We're both doing well. I need to do a little better than you.
Right, yeah.
So it works for me. It's funky. It's different. It says 40 minutes on the box. It's probably closer to half an hour. It's not a long game.
It's crazy for me. The return, the interest, the things I'm thinking about, the funky manipulation that's going on. It's a great amount of involvement for how short the game is, I thought. I really do enjoy that it is so punchy. It punches above its weight class for 40 minutes. I was definitely managing and kind of internal wheeling and dealing, for the amount of time you're spending on it. The locations on the side, that you set the resource to. I love that. I think it's such a clever idea. It's a really interesting part of the game. The one that sounded dumb, but I ended up really liking is the one where you take the two neutral guys and you put them out there. That's really powerful.
Oh, I know.
Forcing
You're like,
that
you can
scoring.
block people out. You can force something to score. It's really interesting. So,
right, which is why if I'm playing, I might stick a color there that people are collecting.
yeah.
So they're going to go at spot, but it's also going to make your color less valuable. I don't know. I find that to be interesting.
Right.
What would you give the game?
I'm coming down at a 6. I found myself kind of zoning out. Even at 40 minutes, I was over it earlier. I found it was either, I felt like I was having to sacrifice my good turn in order to make sure somebody else didn't do what was going to be best for them. And that's not a play style that I really enjoy. But at the end of the day, 2 days later, I completely forgot about the game.
It's also quite abstract, to be fair.
It's very abstract. I feel like the theme is not there at all. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and that's as far as that. That's as far as the artwork goes. It's just being pretty. But yeah, I found the game, unfortunately, kind of forgettable. Nothing really bad. It's not really in my play style. There were some interesting decisions. If I can look at the board and evaluate what's going to be best for me and look at my top 3 options, and then I have to compare what that's going to do for everybody else. But that just gets tiresome because it's repetitive. By 30 minutes, the game is already repetitive. And I found it kind of forgettable. So for me, it's a 6.
I think this game will be divisive. I know some people aren't going to like it because of that. It definitely was one where I played it and I thought, let's try that again. Because I was really curious after that first play. It just felt different. I'm giving it a 7.5. I find it interesting. Yes, I agree. Abstract beyond all belief.
Yeah.
They're like offering tokens. I'm like, yeah, my worker, go here.
Right. Yeah.
I'm getting a yellow piece. But I don't mind living in this world of art. I like being mean for short periods of time. That doesn't bother me. So that's why I like this one.
I like it. I'm giving it an 8. 8 out of 10 from me. I love the worker placement. A worker placement game where the spots for the workers keeps changing over the game. I could see it being repetitive because those cycles are fairly short. Mm-hmm. Put a guy, grab a couple things. Put a guy, score 4 points. You know what I mean? It didn't bother me in this game length, and I did enjoy that. Again, the card scores or doesn't, goes away, is replaced by something new, and you evaluate new worker placement spots. It's always sort of changing around. Yes, there's nothing that is wild. There's no spot that says score 100 points. Oh, my goodness. But I enjoyed the variability that came with those cards changing, and I like that it grows also. That first turn, it's like, 3 cards or whatever, then 4, then 5, then 6. I enjoyed that. I like this one. It's a fun game. Don't go into it expecting a very thematic game. All the theme is on the cover here. But
so true.
if you don't mind, if you don't mind it to be a little bit mean and you like quick worker placement games, I think you will enjoy it. So 8.
Well, there you go, folks. That's Inori. I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
And we'll go searching for theme.